and welcome to our first presentation of Let's Talk Housing, a new series that we will be offering on the first Thursday of every month. Tonight, we're going to introduce and interview our Chief Executive Officer, Chris Praedel from Community Homeworks. And then in the following weeks, he will be interviewing various folks from the Kalamazoo community who are involved with housing. We hope that you will find this series informative and learn something about housing in Kalamazoo. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, Jean. Thanks so much for joining me tonight to start the series off. We're really excited to start at Community Homeworks. We're going to be launching this Let's Talk Housing series effective tonight. And the goal is really recognizing that there are so many differing and varying needs in terms of housing here in our community. And Community Homework serves a small portion of that. And so we want to make sure that we provide the community and the individuals and households that we serve an opportunity to learn about some of the different resources that are out there, learn and meet the people who are really helping to lead the charge in the housing space, and really just want people to walk away feeling more knowledgeable about what's going on here in Kalamazoo. And so we are excited to launch this. And again, tonight's our first official one. We're going to do that the first Thursday of each month at 4 o'clock here on Facebook Live. And then also you can watch it on our YouTube channel as well live, but we'll make sure to record it. So if you are unable to watch it live with us, we will make sure that you can still capture it at a later time as well. We're excited. Our first guest is going to be next month on April 1st, and we'll be joined by Vice Mayor of the City of Kalamazoo, Patrice Griffin, who led the charge last year in terms of passing the housing discrimination ordinance, and also involved with that helped create the Civil Rights Board for the City of Kalamazoo as well. So we're excited to have Vice Mayor here. She has been a huge housing advocate in the community and in recent years, and so we'll learn a lot from her. We're also in future episodes going to hear from about the Housing for All millage. We're also going to get to hear from Executive Director of Kalamazoo Literacy Council, and we'll also have an update from KNHS as well. So just a few topics and organizations we'll hear from here in the near future.
Sounds like some exciting things that they'll be able to share with us, and I'm sure we'll all learn something. I am familiar with some of those, but certainly not all of them, and I look forward to learning more about housing in Kalamazoo County. Chris, you've been with Community Homeworks now for about 6 months. What attracted you to coming to us, and how do you feel that you've grown our organization, and are you happy?
Yeah,
because I know we are.
Yeah, thanks. We have such an amazing team, and we have a team of about 7 individuals that work on our staff, including Jean here, who is really our connector for the organization, but serves as our volunteer and education coordinator. So you get to see Jean every Tuesday night at 6 when we have our virtual education courses. But it's great to be a part of an organization where, irregardless of what position somebody holds in the organization, that they believe in the mission, believe what we're doing, and would do whatever it takes to try to help and serve the people that we're serving and trying to assist. And that definitely makes you want to get up in the morning each day and do this work and do whatever it takes to help people. So that is something that is very important to me in my career. And I know Community Homeworks is making a huge difference in people's lives and doing it here directly in our own community. And that's always something that I've aspired to be a part of. And there's nothing more critical in terms of the work here to be done in the city of Kalamazoo and in our county than the housing crisis. It is so fundamental to every other facet of our lives, and it's a really special thing to be able to be a part of that.
Well, we're so glad that you came to us, and I feel the organization has grown and focused so much in the past 6 months compared to the 2.5 years I was there before then. That I know that we all certainly appreciate having you on board and helping us move forward and expand what we're doing, such as this program.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell our viewers more about exactly what we do
Sure.
both in the critical home repair aspect and the education aspect.
Sure. So I forgot to answer a few of the questions. Well, a part of your previous question was some of the things that we've worked on or done here in the last 6 months since we've been here. So one of them is we've built up our board of directors. We have, I would argue, one of the most impressive board of directors here in the city of Kalamazoo for a nonprofit. I mean, we have some real movers and shakers, real experts, people who have a real social entrepreneurial mindset, people with legal expertise, people with housing experience, people with lived experience in housing instability. And then with that board, we are in the process of finalizing a strategic plan. We have reformed our board subcommittees to address different aspects like fund development and programming, and policies and procedures, those sort of things. So, that was a very fundamental piece just to start as well, but we're working to diversify our budget so we're not so reliant on reimbursement sources for funding. We are in the process of really looking and examining how we can remove barriers to access. So how we can make sure that we're not making more work for people than necessary to access our services, and we're more agile and more responsive to people. So we're taking a look at our application. We're working with the Literacy Council to make sure that we are addressing concerns about adult literacy and translating our documents. So just, a wide gamut of things with that with barriers to access. And so anyway, those are just a few things that we're working on just in the short term that I think are going to make a big difference in our work and our mission here as we move forward. To answer your question, your next question though was like who we are, what we do. So Community Homeworks was founded in 2009 by Sean and Emily Wright here in the city of Kalamazoo. Those are our two co-founders, and the mission has remained unchanged since. They found sort of a missing middle in housing, which is critical home repairs. And the whole concept with that is the thought process that, sometimes it doesn't take a huge amount of investment to support a family or support a household to prevent them from having housing instability, to effectively having to vacate their home because it's either no longer safe or healthy enough to reside there, or if they could potentially face their home being condemned. So it's absolutely remarkable to see that you can inject $5,000 or less into a home and make sure that that person can remain stable in their home. And we recognize that it's never been more important to do that right now during the pandemic, because people are very much more homebodies than they've ever been before. So they're using things heavier than they were before. If you're not going to school or not going to work as often, you're probably flushing that toilet more. And if the toilet's already having an issue, well, you're exacerbating that problem. There are kids learning virtually from home. And so when that leak is coming from the roof and you're afraid that roof's going to collapse in from the second floor, that's not a very conducive way to learn. Or if you're freezing in your home when you're trying to study up in your class. So we really focus in on three areas. One of them is that critical home repair segment. And then Jean, which is one of our stars of our education every Tuesday, we do empowering education. The idea is that we help with maintenance and repair education, so that the idea is that a person feels empowered to go and tackle some of the issues in their own home and know how to maintain it and repair those things in their home as well. So it might be something as simple as, you just got a new furnace, and how do you maintain that furnace? How do you make sure that it's working and operating safely in your home for the years to come? And so we offer that. And then as funding permits, we also are really passionate about weatherization and making homes more energy efficient. And we even do that when we do things like hot water heaters and furnace repairs, because we're installing more energy efficient appliances in people's homes as well. So instead of a 30-year-old furnace, you get a high energy efficient furnace installed that's saving people on their utility bills as well. So those are really the three main thrusts of the organization that we focus on, and that we have remained focused on really since the inception of the organization.
Well, and I want people to understand too that our critical home repairs do have some guidelines. Our education classes are open to anyone in the community.
Right.
You don't even have to live in Kalamazoo County. You are welcome to come to our classes when we get back to meeting in person. And of course, you can share our virtual videos with your grandma out in Arizona.
That's right. That's right.
They are on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, just as this presentation will be. And so, if you're looking to remember how to do something, check out our videos, because there've been some really good ones over the past few months.
Jean, I think I've shared this with you before, that the irony of me starting as executive director here is that I'm probably the world's least handy human being. And I have learned so much just from, scoping in on our classes on Tuesday nights, and, about screen repairs, and just little tricks that you can try to make sure that before you call somebody to come repair your furnace, that it's not something that you can do yourself. Just great content. And so I'd really encourage people to check it out. And the great thing about going virtual like we have, we miss being in person and doing the hands-on work, but it's really pretty awesome because you can watch it live and you can ask questions live during the class, and then the instructor will try to answer your question the best they can. But also you can watch it after the fact. So if you want to go back to it and reference it again, or, like Jean said, if you want to share it with your great aunt in Arizona and help Community Homeworks go national, you can do that as well.
And if you would like to receive our tip of the week or a notification of our classes, the email, I believe, on our webpage stuff is at the bottom here. Just send us an email saying you'd like me to add you to our list, and you will get an email from me every week telling you what our class will be the upcoming Tuesday. They're always at Tuesday at 6 p.m. And it's a wide variety of topics. And if you even have an idea for a class, I'd love to hear about it. So, Chris, when somebody makes that initial contact to Community Homeworks, not to come to a class, but for critical home repair, what happens? What's the process?
So a couple ways that you can reach us. So one of them is you call us, our main line. It's 269-998, 3275. We have a menu that will prompt you, but ultimately it's going to, if you have a repair need, you're going to push 209, which will take you to our program manager, Kaylin Humes. And Kaylin takes all the intake requests and really provides application counseling, but also navigation support services, which is so valuable to people who call us because, again, we don't necessarily take care of every instance that calls us at our office, but we want to be a part of helping the household or the individual hopefully hunt down the right resources as well in the community. So, when in doubt, if you're wondering if you're on the cusp or maybe close to income eligibility, just call us, find out, and we can help sort that out. Sometimes I think people have a propensity to just think, well, I couldn't possibly be eligible for that, but you might be really surprised, depending on who's living in your household or how many people are living in your household. So, please give us a call, try that out first. And then once we find out if an individual is eligible to work with us, we'll work with you on your application, make sure to get all the materials that we need for documentation to prove eligibility. And then we get city approval. So they do pre-approval to make sure that there's, everything that's clear for us to work with that household. And then we go out, we do a pre-inspection site visit, check it out, make sure that we're understanding the issue well enough, and see if maybe there's any other issues that might be there that you might not even realize. Gives our construction team a chance to prioritize the needs and what we can focus on. They put together a project order, if you will, like an estimate of what the anticipated cost will be for us to do the repair. Not that the homeowner has to pay that, but it just gives us an idea of, making sure that we're within budget for us. And then we schedule the project, and we either go out and work on it, or we have a subcontractor that's approved by us to go work on it with us. The repair happens, and then we go out for a post-site visit just to make sure that everything was done up to the quality we would want in our own home. And then that's basically it. So, we definitely would encourage people, if you have something going on in your home, don't wait until it's too late. If there's a slow trickle coming through your ceiling right now, don't think, well, maybe it will go away a week from now, because more often than not, it doesn't go away. And then it compounds and it becomes much worse of an issue long term if it's not taken care of sooner. So, please, when in doubt, just call us. We'll be able to tell you pretty quickly whether we can help you or not. And then if we can't, we'll do our best to try to help find the resources that you need to some help.
And Chris, and I think you've learned, at least, even if you're not a handyman yourself, that a little something can grow so big so quickly that please, folks, don't wait. Contact us.
Yes,
We will get to you as quickly as we can. And yes, sometimes there are delays. Chris, I know that you could address how COVID slowed us down for a while.
Yeah.
But we want to come. We want to help you. And if we possibly can, we will. And if we can't, we will do our best to find someone who can.
Yeah.
We do use subcontractors for some of our work. Some of the work we do ourselves, but there are some things we just plain can't do also. But we will gladly tell you that when you call and tell us, what's wrong at your house or what your concerns are about your house.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't want anyone to be cold or not have hot water or have water where water isn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
Those things can do so much damage, not only to your home, but to your mental health. And we're all challenged enough by that right now without having to worry about, I can't afford to fix my house and what will I do?
Yeah, and that's a really good point. That's a great point as well about, right now we are not charging any portion of the project cost to the homeowner. We recognize that there's a lot of hardship related to the pandemic. Previous to the pandemic, we had a small copay, which means just a small portion of the repair costs that we would allow the homeowner to pay over multiple months or years. But we basically froze that currently, so that the most important thing is we want to make sure that we can get you the help if we can help in your home. And so that's an important fact to know, as well as that we recognize that there's a lot of instances where organizations have loans that people have to take out or owe a large portion of the cost, and we are not one of those organizations. We do minor critical home repairs, and so we want to be able to help keep people in their homes.
Right. We can't come in and redecorate your kitchen and your bathroom, but we sure can make sure that your kitchen and your bathroom are functional and behaving the way they should.
That's right.
And,
yeah.
We want you to feel good about being in your home and feel safe about being in your home. Those are the things I always think of.
Yep. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you think about it, if you're asking yourself, is this something we should call community homeworks? And again, just call if you're in doubt. But is it a health or safety risk to you and your family? And so a good instance is if your furnace goes out in the middle of winter, that's a major health or safety risk. If there's a leak going through the ceiling of your house, that's a pretty major health or safety risk, because even if it's not the leak itself that can cause serious damage, and oftentimes it could lead to environmental issues like black mold or other issues that could arise as well. So just think of it as health or safety things. We don't do cosmetic things. So if somebody calls and says that the front of my cupboard in my kitchen fell off, that's not something that we would do. If it's like, well, my garage door isn't working outside that's not attached to my house, that's not something we would do either. But the most common things that we do would be furnaces, hot water heaters, minor plumbing or electrical projects, environmental. So it could be black mold. Maybe it's an accessibility issue. So it could be, you have a railing that's broken, or steps, or a porch that's falling through, or a front or a back door that isn't accessible. So those are the kind of things that you can think of, things that we would want to take care of if you would be eligible to.
Right. And many of the things that we maybe don't come into your house to do, you can come to our classes, especially when they're in person, and learn how to maybe do it yourself, or how to find out how to get the right person to do them. I know so many of the ladies in particular who come to our classes come away saying, I don't think I can do that, but boy, do I know what I'm going to ask when somebody comes and tries to sell me, a new roof, or repaving my driveway, or whatever it might be. But now I feel empowered. I know what to ask. I know that somebody's not going to trick me. Even just going into a big box store, knowing the difference between the different kind of valves.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I know the difference,
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun to see those folks be so proud of themselves for maybe not being ready to go home and do it themselves, but knowing that they know something and they're not going to get fooled.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Which is so important, especially I think, when you only have limited funds and limited knowledge, the more knowledge you have, the further your funds go sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
People often talk about the endless referral loop and dead ends that, you call us and we go, sorry, we don't do roofs.
Right.
And some places you call, they're going to say that, and they're not going to try to help you find a place to get your roof fixed.
Yeah.
How do we handle those kinds of things?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is, again, we want to provide support services to try to help point you in the right direction. So oftentimes it's a very common instance where our program manager, Galen, she is writing down what your issue is, and she's making calls for you, calling around, asking people, how can we help you? Good example right now is we're inspecting a home where we have reason to believe that there might be some peeling and chipping paint that would more than likely than not probably have lead, and there are a number of children in the household. And so we wanted to call KNHS and ask them, hey, how would we what information can we give this family to see if maybe they can work with you guys on lead remediation? And so we're making calls and asking them information that we can pass along, and then trying to refer that back to the homeowner. And so we really try hard to do that. And I'm not going to say we're perfect at it. We have our limitations as well. And but it really is a central part of the work that we do, that we don't want to just say, oh, sorry, we don't do that, and hang up the phone. And the other thing as well is that, I think that there is a recognition, and here we're having a conversation about housing in Kalamazoo. There are a lot of dead ends. And I think it's something worthy that we as a community and as a county will continue to work on. Whether it be, okay, your home is in a floodplain. Well, if you're looking for federal funds that are injected for work in people's homes, they don't allow it to happen in a floodplain. If you're a land contract home, it's a lot harder to get that work done in your home. If you have a rodent or a bug infestation in your house, there's not a lot of organizations that will tackle those sort of things. And so, I think it's something that a number of us in the housing space are trying to talk and collaborate to figure out maybe how to best approach those, so that there are not, dead end gaps for people, because they all add up. And, for that person in that moment, you don't really care whether you're in a floodplain or not. You just care about the fact that your basement's flooded and you need some help. So, I think that's it's frustrating for all of us, because for those of us that are in professions where we want to help people, there's nothing worse than going home at night and knowing that you weren't able to help somebody that needed you.
Right. And I think that, we're a small group of folks. There's 7 of us. Most of us are part-time, but I have never seen a group of people who will put in the extra time, put in the extra 6 phone calls, ask their friends, do whatever to try to help somebody with an issue, so that you can have the dignity of having your home and feeling that you're safe and secure there. It's so important, especially now, I think, when we're all home all the time, and maybe finding things that we didn't notice before, or things have happened. Like you said, we flush the toilet 10 times more a day than we used to, or our furnace is 30 or 40 years old and it just couldn't keep up with us being home all the time, and or the kids are cold because they're home doing school and they're sitting down instead of running around like they do after school from sitting all day somewhere else. But it's just so important that you feel safe and secure, and know that your home is taking care of you, and you're taking care of your home, I think.
Yeah, I think we as a society tend to, the first thing that comes to mind is putting somebody in a place to live. And there's definitely a need for that, don't get me wrong. But there is such a large segment of our population that is having trouble to stay in their home, and we have to remember that that is a fundamental tenet. It doesn't matter how the person gets there, whether you're keeping them there or you're trying to place them there, they're both equally important, and matters to that life. and matters to that family. And so, I think that just is just important for people to remember that is yeah, often a missing middle, if you will.
Right. And we've talked about some of this, but what do you see as some of the biggest challenges for housing in Kalamazoo right now?
Yeah, I would say, there's just not enough funding to provide those kind of fundamental repairs. I mean, almost every project that we're working on this week right now, uh, the number one thing is the roof. But roofing is so expensive. It's crazy expensive, especially for older homes. And a lot of times they have steeper pitches. They cover larger areas. They're higher up. And a lot of times there's like significant rot that goes deep into it or whatever. But again, if your roof is leaking, it's kind of pointless to try to fix something inside that's being precipitated by that leak. And so roofing is huge. I think in terms of thinking of people who are in different housing types. So land contracts, I mentioned that before. Those are different arrangements where a lot of times people use that land contract situation to get into housing if they're not able to start with a mortgage. And so, just because they're in a land contract doesn't mean that they're any more or less need a new furnace or, critical repair. We also, have instances as well where, maybe somebody got help and they already capped out the amount that they can tap into because they got a new furnace, but all of a sudden there's a leak. So, a lot of times the organizations will say, well, we're out of funding for this year. And we're in the same boat with that. Once we've helped somebody with so much money in a certain year, we're capped out in terms of how much we can work on that home. And then the other thing too that's tricky is that we pretty much cap out at about $5,000 that we do for critical home repairs, and a lot of that is because of HUD guidance related to lead remediation. And if you spend more than that, you effectively have to do much more intensive. And most organizations would be dried out of resources pretty quickly if every household also required full lead remediation for the house. So those are just some things that things that don't come first to mind for a lot of people, but it would make a huge difference for people who live in mobile homes. Another segment of the population in our community who, just because you live in a mobile home, you still have leaks and have furnace issues and hot water heater issues and whatnot. And so, but there's not a lot of resources available to devote to help those individuals. So,
well, and I think, at least I hope, that one of the things this series is going to do is to get all of these organizations, and we do have a lot of choices about housing organizations in Kalamazoo.
Yeah,
they
a lot
may
of great.
be directly related and maybe some more a little on the fringe,
Mm-hmm.
but to figure out how we can work together to make things work for those folks that need the help. I know there's been a lot of talk lately about new low-income housing, and then they'll say how much rent is going to be, and I'm like, who do they think can afford that if they're low income? That's not low-income housing. That's a stretch for a lot of people that live in this county. And I mean, I know you and I were talking about incomes and things this morning, and it scares me that these folks are building low-income housing that low-income people aren't going to be able to afford. So how have we've helped another group, but not maybe the group that needs us the most? And some of those folks do have their own homes, but consider moving. I mean, we had a client at one point in time, Jason told the story, that he was going to trade his house for an SUV because he couldn't afford to fix his house. So he was going to live in a car. And that's not what we want to have happen from any housing organization in this town, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you mentioned about the challenges and expensive of homeownership as well. A lot of times there might be a really affordable home option that you get at auction, or a family member is really willing to sell to you, really cheap, and it might seem like a great idea, but that maintenance and repair costs and the utility rates for some of the older homes, I mean, it can be just astronomical, and oftentimes people don't realize that until they get into it and it's too late, and can feel like a very can feel like you're very much trapped in a situation like that where, you need to protect and keep your family safe. But, at the end of the day, like, it's just almost overwhelming to keep up with.
Right. And no one should have to choose between heat and food or lights.
Mhm.
Those things just shouldn't be happening.
Right.
Especially Kalamazoo is a relatively affluent town in many ways. Maybe not lots of money, but definitely lots of educated people and critical thinker people, like the people on our board that, how do we get those folks to address some of the things that we see and hear every day when people are calling us and saying, I just don't know what to do.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
So if people want to access our services, we already kind of talked about what they could do to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
And there again, if it's something that we can't help you with, we will certainly try to guide you to somewhere or help you get that information or whatever. But what else would you like to share about that aspect of what we do?
Yeah. So, we continue to stay in touch with a lot of our housing partners. We're still, I'm still relatively new, so I'm still trying to get in touch with a lot of our different partners throughout the community and the county, just to have those relationships established so they know, what we do and don't do, can reach out to us as well. But, again, you can call 269-998-3275. You can email us at info@communityhomeworks.org. You can visit us on our website. We have a contact us form on our website as well. But really, the best way to start it off would be to call or to email if you can.
And we do get back to you. We are not one of those places that you're not going to hear from us for a week. We do check things, even though we're not actively in the office on a real regular basis. Some of us more than others are there, but you will not be ignored. Please contact us if you need the help.
Yep. You made me just think of something else as well, Jean. We had a pretty significant wait list last year with the pandemic and, the stay-at-home order, and we, basically had to shut down operations for a fair bit. But we are, taking requests real time now. So if you did try to reach out to us last year and there was a wait list, we know we're not in that position at the moment. And so, just know that as well, that we are back doing real-time work as well.
Right. Now I have some fun things so that we learn a little bit about Chris instead of just community homework. Complete this sentence. Kalamazoo is best at
working together to solve problems.
For those of you who don't know, Chris is also a city commissioner, so that was his little plug for the city commission.
Well, I think that we do a great job of, when we see a problem, we, pull together our minds or pull together resources or organizations to try to solve it. And I think we're getting better at that too.
Yeah, and I think that's the affluence I was talking about. It's like we may not be the most financially affluent place in America, but I think we are truly up there with the ability to critical think and work together and try to solve issues that affect our community. I've seen it over the years that I've lived here.
Yeah.
If you had the day off and you were going to spend it in Kalamazoo, what would you go do?
Oh, I'd love to go just have lunch somewhere fun, go to a cool coffee shop, go for a hike somewhere with my wife or kids. So many cool outdoor places to go for a hike or a walk or, ride your bike.
Where would you go to eat for dinner?
Ooh,
I'll let you choose. I'll let you choose 3 places.
Okay, we'll do a toss up. I do it between saffron or shawarma.
So you like ethnic food?
I guess. Sounds delicious. I'm gonna have to get on that tonight.
Now that we've talked about it, you're gonna have to order food in tonight, I think. Where's the best place to get a taco in Kalamazoo?
I mean, we have Los Brothers not too far away from us. just down Bryant Street from our headquarters, so we're a little spoiled that way. We just have a little walk over there.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are very good and very close, and
Yes.
sometimes see way too much of some of us, I do believe.
Yeah, La Familia downtown is incredible as well. If you have not been, I have not been there as often during the pandemic, but pre-pandemic, I went there pretty often.
I don't think there is a bad restaurant in Kalamazoo. Says someone who probably frequents some of them way too much.
Same
But
here.
you can find any kind of food. You can find Mexican and Italian and Vietnamese and Middle Eastern and a
Continues
hamburger.
to grow and grow. Yeah, continues to grow and grow too, which is
right.
Special.
And I think I don't know if we can give a plug to somebody else, but the Kalamazoo menu page has been a lifesaver, I think, both to our restaurants in Kalamazoo and to those folks that work there, and to those of us who have learned after many years of living here that I never heard of that place before. I want to go try there.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Who is your Kalamazoo hero?
I think it's ebbed and flowed throughout life, but right now I would say Stephanie Hoffman. She is head of Open Doors Kalamazoo, and is just, whether it's the housing millage or, working on homelessness or just the great work they're doing as an organization to house people. I'm always thoroughly impressed with her passion and dedication and collaborative spirit, just as a superhuman. And I don't know how she does it all, but I just continue as I get to know her better, and so impressed with her work and her dedication to this community.
But frankly, I don't know how you get all the things done you do. Maybe it's just because you're a lot younger than I am, but I would not want your schedule. Thank you very much. And this is an absolutely silly question.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I think I'm pretty introverted. I love people. I'm very curious about people, and I love learning what makes people tick, if you will. But I am somebody that at the end of the night, I just, I crash, after I've had a long day. I would say I'm somewhere in the middle, maybe. I don't know.
And
probably
I would have guessed totally extrovert. What
my wife would say I'm introverted as well. We're both introverted, so I don't know.
I don't know. We did one of those. What was it? The Myers-Briggs test one time at one of the places I worked, and I was really surprised that the head of our organization was an introvert. I'm like, how can you be an introvert? That's not your job at all.
Yeah, I know.
How an introvert would want to be on the city commission, was totally beyond my thought process, I guess.
Anybody who's tuning in ever wants to read a great book, I have a high school English teacher who I've stayed in touch with, and is a great deal of inspiration for me. And he shared this book with me one time, and it's called Quiet Leadership, I think is what it's titled, and it's basically talks about what makes more introverted leaders sometimes more effective, or why they can sometimes get more done, or I don't know. It's an interesting book, but I would encourage it for anybody who is like me and considers yourself a outward-facing introverted leader.
Well, which leads me to my last question. What is your leadership philosophy?
Yeah. My hope is that when I started at Community Homeworks, the thing that gave me a lot of faith that this was an organization I want to be a part of is knowing that there are people who are so dedicated to the mission. And all I ask our team is to show up every day, giving it the best they've got. And in addition to giving it the best they've got every day and giving it their all every day is to, be kind, have that caring, compassionate heart, whether it be to each other as coworkers or the people we serve or to our partners. I think if you can do those two things and accomplish those two things, then you can really do some remarkable things as an organization. Yeah.
Do you have any last thoughts you'd like to share with us? We've got a few minutes.
Yeah.
And I know usually
Yeah.
when we talk, things just keep coming, between
Yeah.
the two of us.
Yeah.
Um,
So, I would just encourage people, if you want to learn more about community homeworks, even if you're not a homeowner who could use critical repair services, encourage you to check us out. If you'd ever like us to come and make a presentation at your organization or an event or something, please let us know. We're happy to do that and come talk about how we work in housing. And, if you'd want to support us, the link is at the bottom of the screen. You can donate on our website to support our mission and help keep people in their homes. And, please, just reach out to us. And if we've missed you as a partner that could be somehow strategically tied together, we'd love to talk to you. And we appreciate you tuning in tonight. We look forward to these future episodes. And I think after 10, 12 episodes of these, just hearing all the great, interesting things going on in the community from people is going to be fun. And we're going to end every segment asking some fun questions like that as well from the people we're interviewing. So it's not all just serious every moment of it as well. So thanks, Jane, for hanging out.
well, thank you. And you can have the introvert or the extrovert come and speak if you'd like us.
We could alternate. We could alternate. It's virtual,
or
so
we could go together,
yeah.
The whole person.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for being here.
If we can help your organization know more about us, we'd love to come and talk to you or send you information. If you know someone, if you work somewhere and know someone who needs our help, please tell them about us. All those ways Chris just told you that you can contact us. We're here to help. We truly are. We care. We care about every single person in this community. We don't care if you are a unicorn or from Mars or, though if you're from Mars, we'd really like to get to meet you. But
it would be very newsworthy for us, so yeah.
Our first Martian critical repair, that would be,
There you go. I know.
We'd love it. Or if you've got skills that you would like to share with our education department, please contact us. We are always looking for instructors. Or if you're a contractor and you would like to do some subcontract work for us, there again, please contact us. We will take any support and any help and, share that kindness with others.
Yep, for sure. All right. Well, have a great night, everybody. Thanks again, Jean.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for sharing community homeworks with the community.
Yep. We'll see you back here on Thursday, April 4th, again at 4:00 with Kalamazoo's very own Vice Mayor, Patrice Griffin. Good night.
And Chris.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, guys.